The road to WrestleMania 42 rolled through the Frostbank Center in San Antonio, Texas, with another jam-packed broadcast of Monday Night Raw, including the returns of Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar to the flagship. What went down when those industry giants hit the ring last night, and how did it impact their plans for the Showcase of the Immortals on April 18 and 19? Find out now with this recap of last night's show, which also featured AJ Lee defending her Women's Intercontinental Championship for the first time since winning it at Elimination Chamber. Hey there, welcome everybody to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and streaming.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher and the Phenom, Michael Bullock. Exciting things going on right now. We got a barn burner in the World Baseball Classic Championship game. Venezuela was up 2-0. Team USA has tied it at 2. We are in the 9th inning, and I got a feeling bonus commentary is going to be warranted for this one. So, MF,
I think you are corrected, Florio. Venezuela has just taken the lead again in the top of the 9th.
obviously you must be a little ahead of me because of what I have, but yes, Team Venezuela has just taken the lead, as Michael Bullock has just alluded to. So bonus commentary is definitely going to be needed. I'll say it like this. As soon as we get to the bottom of the 9th inning, we're going to cut away from the wrestling here, and we're going to bring in our voice of baseball, our closer, good old MF, a.k.a. Screaming Michael Fletcher. I got a feeling a Screaming Michael Fletcher moment is coming. I can feel it in my bones. So, MF, you get ready for that. But for right now, let's get into Monday Night Raw. And yeah, we're gonna start big, all right. We are gonna start big, ladies and gentlemen, and here we go. Seth Rollins hit the ring, accompanied by an army of masked and hooded associates. He grabbed the mic and immediately threatened the Vision, telling them, "I created the Vision, and I will kill the Vision." Paul Heyman arrived on the scene, disheveled and unshaved, his right eye bloodshot, and his face bruised and scraped. Rollins said, "Letting you in my inner circle was the worst decision I ever made." And he said he vowed to cut the wise man out like the cancer you are. Heyman repeated the FAFO catchphrase, but on the last one uttered F5. And Brock Lesnar made his presence felt. The Beast stalked to the ring before obliterating Rollins' cronies one by one, leaving him face to face with the Visionary. And I know a lot of people were thinking, uh-oh, are we going to get these two at WrestleMania again? It's been done to death. 2019, this feud was done to death, to the point where it was repetitive. Nope, not going to happen. And then the arena darkens, the lights go out. Enter the ruler, Oba Femi, strutted to the ring, and the ruler proceeded to deliver the fall from grace powerbomb on Brock Lesnar, a foot on the chest, and a point to the sign. And Lesnar's WrestleMania 42 plans appeared clearer. And ladies and gentlemen, it is official. In the immortal words of our general manager, Adam Pearce, Brock Lesnar, Oba Femi, WrestleMania. Teasing Lesnar versus Rollins was a great way to kick off this segment, and it made sense, giving the revenge-minded Heyman that he would call upon his conqueror to do his bidding for him. With one powerbomb, Oba Femi is a bigger star than he was before. The ruler was fantastic here, and even had Lesnar look up and tell him to put his foot on his chest, a sign of approval from the Beast after a segment perfectly executed. If you are not thrilled at the prospect of Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar after that, there is nothing involving those two that WWE could have done to make it a more anticipated match. For a company that has been criticized, and rightfully so, this was as good an opening segment as you could have asked for, This felt like WrestleMania hype. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. MF, SmackDown, you got your Be a Man fight. You got Drew McIntyre against Jacob Fatu. We talked about it on that last night. Okay, that's a good Be a Man fight. I'll give you that. Yeah, I see that. Ross saw that, and we raised you. Brock Lesnar, Obafemi, WrestleMania, book it.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome. I think everybody was so excited with the announcement of it being Oba versus Brock at Mania. Look, Oba's the right guy. No doubt about it. This is going to be amazing. This is going to be a heck of a match at WrestleMania. No doubt. I'm a little worried, though. Did they strap the jetpack on the back of Oba too soon? Is what I say. Because there are rumors going around that Brock is shuffling about not losing until his final match, which is supposed to be around SummerSlam. If that's the case, then I don't know if the fall from grace may be a mistake that could lead to a disaster for Obafemi at WrestleMania. Now, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not trying to say that it will or won't, but it's going to be very interesting to see how they play this from now until WrestleMania. So, nothing more to say. This was awesome. Michael Bullock, it is yours.
Yes, I mean, this was a perfectly done segment. I mean, it's what it had to be. And this was the match everybody was clamoring for. Oba, Femi, and Brock Lesnar. And now we got it. And if you guys like Be a Man fights, I mean, it's obvious we think it's going to be Drew and Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania, but that's what SmackDown said. All right, well, Raw said, how about we raise it and we give you these two? I'm telling you, this is going to be one of the best Be a Man fights I've ever seen at a WrestleMania. I mean, WWE to me, they are high on Obafemi, and they're giving him a big time match against the Beast Incarnate Brock Lesnar. I'm gonna say it right now. I mean, Brock Lesnar better not take Obafemi lightly, because if he does, it could lead to his downfall, because we've seen what Obafemi is made of. I mean, heck, go back to what happened at Saturday night's main event when he was in there with Cody Rhodes, and it looked like he was on the verge of maybe pulling it off until obviously Drew McIntyre interfered. So, and now he's going to get a much bigger challenge in Brock Lesnar. And I know the thing is, Fletch, I mean, I know you throw it out there, but now if this was under the McMahon regime, like you brought that up, then I would be concerned. But this is Triple H we're talking about here, and I think WWE is so high on Obafemi. This is why they're giving him this opportunity. And think about what would a victory over the Beast Incarnate do for Obafemi? I mean, he's
raise his stock exponentially.
Exactly. I mean, you thought his big win winning the NXT championship was the biggest win ever?
Oh no.
That would pale in comparison to
this would be his biggest win 20 years from now, 50 years from now, 100 years from now.
I mean, you go in there into WrestleMania and beat a multi-time champion, a man who at one time, and I'm sorry to bring this up, ended the greatest streak in WrestleMania history, the undefeated streak of The Undertaker. and you go in there and you beat this guy, the hype, and I mean, is going to be even bigger for him. And I'll even make a bold statement: if that happens sometime before the end of this year, I think he's going to be either a WWE Undisputed or a World Heavyweight Champion, because that's just how high they're on this guy. I cannot wait for this. I can't wait to see what the build leading up to this is going to be like. I mean, if you guys think for 1 minute that Obafemi is going to be intimidated by the Beast Incarnate, you saw it right there when he hit that fall from grace on Brock Lesnar. So, nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
And by the way, props to Michael Cole on that call. That ranks up. That's going to rank up there as one of Michael Cole's greatest calls.
So much so, he actually said, "Holy bleep."
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And excellent. That's how you sell it. That alone sold it right there. So,
well, Florio, I think we're about to take a little break from the. Once we get back from commercial, we're about to get into some bonus commentary.
Yes, indeed, we will. But before we do that, let's see how much we can get through the show here before we give it to MF for that bottom of the ninth. First action of the night: the battle of the El Grande Americanos, the original versus El Grande Americano 2. And the winner of the match, it's the number 2 El Grande Americano. He beats the OG El Grande Americano 9 minutes and 55 seconds. He stuffed the mask. That's what he's been known for the last year or so, since this character came into fruition. So, yeah, MF, El Grande Americano 2 defeats the OG 9:55, and we got a feeling that this feud is far from over.
Yeah, no, this feud's far from over. It was a solid matchup, but it's setting up for WrestleMania. This is setting up for basically the match to be the mega fight that we've been expecting, that we probably feel like it's going to happen. We're going to have to wait and see how it plays out. But yeah, this was about 2.5 stars. Yes, the overbooked finish, but this was expected. You know, Rayo and Bravo got involved in the Rey de Reyes fight, and that kind of, did everything that we needed to do. And now here we are, and we're going to the main event, and now we're going to see these two possibly fight with the mask on the line. So we'll see how this plays out. But all in all, yeah, it is what it is. So nothing more to say. And Michael Bullock, 2.5 stars, and it's back to you.
Yeah, I'll give it 2.5 to 3 as well. I mean, I thought this was a solid match. Yes, it was an overbooked finish, but it was expected. And I think this is going to lead to a mask versus mask match at WrestleMania. So there's really nothing more to say. Florio, why don't you give a quick thought, and then we'll get, unless you want to go right to the bonus commentary.
Well, let me since we've already got into it, let me finish it off here. It was overall a 3-star match, but I'm bumping it down to 2.5. WWE has to get Chad Gable out of this Americano gimmick ASAP. His return has been ice cold. The crowd prefers Ludwig Kaiser's version, and the fans in Mexico treat him like the biggest babyface in AAA. Admit defeat and move on. Let Gable steal shows as himself. All of the heel cheats and tricks here did not help. Rayo and Bravo interfered, but the OG was still booed in favor of the storyline heel. And this was a considerable disappointment given the talent involved. The two had good enough chemistry, but the match was overbooked, and the crowd in San Antonio was too into the villain for it to have the effect the bookers hoped it would. 3 stars, but I'm bumping it down to 2.5. Good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. Bottom of the 9th, we're on the verge of history, folks.
We may be on the verge of history, but we will find out. Kyle Schwarber to lead it off in the bottom of the 9th. Panela is here for Venezuela to try to win the first ever WBC for Venezuela. The pitch is high for ball one. Please, no interruptions, gentlemen. Do not jump in on this one, okay? I don't want to know the World Series like we did the last time. So 1-0 is the call, and here it is. And that's grounded foul, and it's 1-1. Schwarber 0 for 2 tonight in the game. They're hoping for maybe a bloop and a blast for the United States to win it. The 1-1. It's a swung on and miss on the splitter, and it's strike 2. So 1-2. Schwarber at the dish. Can he do something here for the United States? Venezuela 3 outs away from a WBC title. The pitch. High, way outside, and it's 2-2. Schwarber from the Philadelphia Phillies. It was Bryce Harper that tied the game, but then Venezuela took the lead in the 9th. The 2-2. Swung on and missed and struck him out. 1 away in the 9th. 2 outs away for Venezuela. Blow by him. Had about 99 on the gun. And Schwarber could not catch it. And now, with Schwarber in the dugout, now there's just a talk at the mound, probably just to make sure that they know what they're doing, as Gunnar Henderson is pinch hitting for the United States. They need base runners right now. One base runner brings the championship run to the plate. Can they do it? Henderson to the dish. The pitch is high, ball 1. 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Up and out of the zone. Mark DeRosa, the manager of Team USA. There's going to be a lot of second guessing if they lose this game. And a fly ball pop up. Shortstop side, and there is 2 away in the 9th. Venezuela is now 1 out away from a WBC title. Whoever would have thought when this tournament began that it would be Venezuela winning it all? Roman Anthony of the Boston Red Sox is the last hope for the U.S. Here we go. And the pitch. High, ball 1. 98-mile-an-hour fastball. All the U.S. can do is just look on and hope and pray. That one's on the corner at 98, and it's 1-1. Venezuela is 2 strikes away from the title, 1 out away from a WBC title. They are about to shock the world. Timeout called. Pitcher needs to relace his cleat. Nervous looks on the U.S. crowd. Venezuela ready to erupt in a celebration. And they're 1 strike away. It's 1-2. 2 outs. Bottom 9. Venezuela 3. USA 2. Can they slam the door? He steps off. And a timeout called. They want to get back to they want to get their signals all, make sure their signals are good. And they are ready to go. Venezuela 3, USA 2. 1 strike away. And here it comes. Strike 3. Ball game over. And the WBC goes to Venezuela. Unbelievable. Can you believe it? Venezuela, for the first time in their history, has won the World Baseball Classic. They have toppled the Americans in a humongous upset.
Oof. Who'd have seen this coming? I mean, I don't think any of us did. I mean, we all thought, and Venezuela took down 2 of the biggest powerhouses in this tournament.
2 of the 3 favorites.
2 of the 3 favorites. 2 of the ones that we thought had a chance of winning it. They took down Japan, and now they take down USA.
Wow. So there you have it. Breaking news. For the first time in their history, Team Venezuela has won the World Baseball Classic. They defeat Team USA 3-2. An unbelievable tournament. And we will have a full recap of this game Friday night, 11 p.m., immediately following SmackDown, TXN Sports World. We'll set the table for the rest of the future content at the end of the show. But
I'll tell you what, Florio, there's going to be some second guessing with Mark DeRosa.
Oh, without a doubt.
I mean, yes, they did get here to the finals, but the way they got there was, I don't know.
They did stumble to Italy. Let's not forget that. That was one turning point. But
it was one,
very controversial.
But it was what he said afterwards that made me feel like, what the hell are you talking about?
That's gonna draw the eye. That drew the ire of the fans, and now this. I mean, this was America's best team that they brought,
especially when you have Aaron Judge.
And you just got upended by Venezuela.
And here's the thing I also realized. Cal Raleigh was not even in the starting lineup and wasn't even, I don't think they brought him in as a pinch hitter.
No, he did not play in the final. So you
wonder what happened that caused him to not even play. A man who last year had 60 home runs. And in the most important game of the year, in the finals, not only you don't start him, but you don't even have him come off the bench.
No.
That's going to...
You remember, they used Gunnar Henderson as the batter. He was the pinch hitter. And,
everybody's going to wonder... Yeah, everybody's going to wonder what happened. I mean, did Cal Raleigh do something to draw the ire of Mark DeRosa?
Well,
there's so many questions that need to be answered, especially with this move.
But not tonight.
Friday night. Not tonight, but not so tonight. Many. Yeah. Oh, I know, but there are just so many questions that I'm sure the media here is going to want answered from DeRosa, and that's going to be one of them.
Absolutely. So, but like I said, Venezuela wins the WBC, first time ever. Congratulations. You earned it. Well deserved. And, well, for WBCs to come, we're most definitely going to put some respect on that name for sure. Major big ups and big time respect to Omar Lopez and Team Venezuela. Well deserved. You guys definitely earned that one here tonight. All right. And like I said, Friday night, we will have our complete recap of of this championship game, and we'll take it from there. So with all that being said, we're just gonna move right on now to as we continue on with our review of Monday Night Raw here, and let's dive on in. Let's dive on into our to what we had coming up next. There was a vignette from Liv Morgan. There was some backstage stuff. Roman Reigns arriving at the arena. Video package recapped the Judgment Day drama where they turned on Finn Balor. Liv Morgan video aired. She addressed Finn Balor and said that had been her plan since she joined the Judgment Day. She said she knows when he lies and schemes, and it was a pleasure to watch him fall from grace. She said he's pathetic, a loser, and is washed up. She said it made her sick to call Balor a family member, so they took a page right out of his playbook. Morgan said they are on to bigger and better things. She said JD McDonough is finally free from Finn Balor. She said Dominic will get the Intercontinental Championship back. She said there is a new king on the throne. She said Raquel Rodriguez is a future champion. Morgan said she will become the new women's world champion at WrestleMania. And without Finn, we are better than ever, Morgan said. Watch us. Roxanne Perez, anyone? Isn't Roxy a member of this group?
That's something that really caught my attention.
No mention.
Yeah,
she didn't even mention Roxanne.
Yeah. No, and the thing is apparently when Roxanne comes back, she is going to align with Finn Balor. So that's why. So no, that was not a deliberate, that was not a that wasn't a ploy or anything. That was deliberate. And I think we know why that happened, because I think we all know why Roxanne Perez was there in the first place, for Finn Balor to drive a wedge into the Judgment Day. And
especially into Dom and Liv.
It's exactly. Unfortunately for Finn, it backfired. It did not work, because all you just did is make Dom and Liv even more stronger than ever. And now and that's why when you heard what she said, that is a direct shot saying, you're not one of us. You never were one of us. And we all know that you're Finn Balor's bitch.
Well, there's an old saying, Liv, especially as the late Gorilla Monsoon would say, don't start something you can't finish.
No,
you may have started it, but Finn Balor and Roxanne might have something to say about that.
I think the problem is it's going to be 2-on-1, because I honestly believe that if push comes to shove, if Roxy tries to pick that fight, I don't think she wins. Sorry.
No.
I think Balor will win his battle, but I think Roxy is going to be in big trouble because did Big Mommy Cool. Not only that, but Big Mommy Cool. Where does she lie? And I think as of now, I think she's more loyal to Liv than she is to Roxanne. But
definitely.
That is what
unless they bring some backup somewhere down the line.
Very possible. Very possible.
Possible, but doubt it.
We shall see.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we shall see.
They may be strong for now, but we'll see how long that's going to last.
We shall. All right. This was one of the big, highly anticipated matches of last night's Raw. Women's Intercontinental Championship on the line. The champion, AJ Lee, in her first title defense since winning the title from Becky Lynch at Elimination Chamber. Defending it against Bayley. Bayley, of course, winning that gauntlet match on last week's show. And this goes back 13, 14 years or so, going back to NXT. So, but we finally got it here. And the winner of the match in roughly 11 minutes and 30 seconds, and still the Women's Intercontinental Champion, it is AJ Lee. But as expected, the former champion, Becky Lynch, she finally returned. She attacks AJ. She holds up the belt. I think we all know where this is leading. So, Michael Bullock, WrestleMania, but AJ Lee defeating Bayley, roughly 11:30. But Becky Lynch attacks AJ. She didn't have much time to celebrate that hard-fought win.
Yeah, I mean, because she had to deal with a crashing out Becky Lynch, and because she literally beat the snot out of AJ Lee, and I think this all leads to WrestleMania with AJ Lee and Becky Lynch. Becky will get her rematch, so we'll see what happens with that. But as far as this goes, I thought this was a really good. What was the time again, Florio?
Roughly 11:30.
I'll give this about 3, teetering on 3 1/4. I mean, this was a good match here. I mean, you saw afterwards. I mean, the respect these two have. I mean, who'd have thunk that? 13 years ago when these two first faced off, Bayley was just a young and up and comer at NXT, and now here it is as a veteran. And this was something I'm sure she really looked forward to, and they showed a good amount of respect for each other. And I don't know if you guys saw, but during the post match before the attack, she went into the crowd and not only, of course, held her title, but she held something that was very familiar to her. And that was the Divas title. Because some female fan had the Divas title, and she grabbed it. And didn't it bring back memories, guys, of her long record-setting run as the Divas champion?
295 days, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, but now, of course, she's got to deal with Becky Lynch, and all roads lead to WrestleMania for these two. And, so there's really nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
3 1/4, 3 1/2. One small bit of criticism. It would have been real nice for champion and challenger to get full televised entrances to put over the importance of this match. This was a strong match down the stretch, with the intensification of the in-ring action and a few throwbacks to more famous matches of each competitor. It would have been nice to see more desperation out of Bayley as she attempted to fight her way back into WrestleMania relevancy after missing last year's show. But her post-match body language suggests that is a story to track within the coming weeks. There were times where it was clear that AJ Lee is still discovering her in-ring legs after a decade plus away from the ring, but she settled in nicely and hung in there well with Bayley down the stretch, leading to a strong finish via the Black Widow. I'm going to give this an excess of 3 1/4, teetering on 3 1/2 stars. One of my fights of the night for sure. No surprise with the outcome. So not much more. 3 1/4, 3 1/2. MF, AJ Lee winning in roughly 11:30. She got by Bayley, but that was basically Becky's way of saying, I want my title back.
I'm back, and I'm back for my belt. Yeah, no doubt about it. This was a solid match, 3 1/2 stars, no doubt. Total agreement with everything you just said. Could have been better in certain elements, but I'm not too mad about it. Really nothing more to say. So, Anthony, back to you.
Alrighty. And then we had it looked like Penta apparently issuing an open challenge for his Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship, and it was answered by Dragon Lee. Oh, this is an MF special right here. Penta versus Dragon Lee, and the winner in roughly 12 minutes of on-air time, and still the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. It is Penta. I think there's more than that than meets the eye. I think that was a longer than 12-minute match as far as I'm concerned. I don't think that was roughly
it was longer. Yeah, it felt like 14, 15 minutes because there was a commercial along the way, and I know the commercial was about 3 minutes long, so this was about 15 minutes.
Yeah, believe it or not, I'm seeing in one thing I just read, I saw 11:48. I don't think that's right. Let me see this other one here. Oh, excuse me. No, not that one. I guess we'll just go with the roughly 12 minutes because another says 8:42 shown. Yeah, they got to get their act together here. But regardless, I'm going to be honest with you. This to me was the fight of the night here. I'm giving this right around 3.5 to 3 3/4 of a star. You can make an argument for 4 if you wanted to. Two of the elite luchadors in professional wrestling squared off in an unadvertised match as Dragon Lee answered an open challenge for a shot at Penta in the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. What ensued was an action-packed, uber-athletic bout between two creative aerial artists. And let me tell you about Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee has been in the best match on Monday Night Raw in 2 of the last 3 weeks. He is on a hot streak and is someone WWE should be focused on pushing, especially coming out of WrestleMania. The crowd in San Antonio, no stranger to historic Lucha Libre. They were red hot for this one and hung on every high spot and near fall. Penta was great. Dragon was excellent. And this was a phenomenal way of upping the in-ring content while giving both the viewing and live audience something different than they are used to. I'm just going to pull it. 3.5 to 4 stars. I'm going to go on the record. I thought this was the fight of the night, although you can make an argument for something else. But I think this was the fight of the night for me. Regardless of how long it was. This was easily 3.5 to 4 stars. There's no question about it. So not much more. MF, Penta, Dragon Lee, roughly 12 minutes of on-air time. That's the highest I could find. But regardless, Penta, still the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion in a match that was, without question, without the shadow of a doubt, this was an MF special.
Yeah, this was an MF special. 3.5 stars is my rating for the match as well. You can't go wrong with it. You cannot go wrong with it. Absolutely what you've been saying is spot on, Anthony. Yeah, Penta finds a way to get the job done, and still, that's been that's been kind of the MO for the last few months with this guy. And again, he's thrilling, he's amazing, and there's really nothing more to add. So yeah, Anthony, Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, 3.5 to 4. I mean, this was a tremendous match here that we saw here. Great work by both men, and the funny thing about this, guys, is that for Dragon Lee, I mean, he was originally, from what I heard, he was originally supposed to face Dominic Mysterio last night, but of course, you heard the story. I mean, I heard something that Dominic is in concussion protocol because
yeah, he is.
He took a nasty, and I mean a nasty shot to the head with that chair from El Hijo del Vecino. How do you say it? Say it again.
El Hijo de Vecino.
Yeah, because to the point that Dominic was actually busted open on the top of his head. So that was bad. So as soon as they heard they were in concussion protocols, they had to do something else for Dragon Lee, and this was what we got, and I definitely enjoyed it. So 3.5 to 4. So nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
Okay. Well, I didn't think we were going to have a cutout here, but unfortunately, we are going to have one here, guys. As it was Maxine squaring off against Maxine Dupree squaring off against Natty, and Natty wins the match 4 minutes and 20 seconds. It's very simple. Crowd went from being as hot as they were all night for that Penta Dragon Lee Intercontinental match to sitting on their hands during this match. This feud could not be any colder than it is now. What once felt like a good, solid, non-title program in the women's division became too much about repetition before Natty dominated and sent Maxine Dupree packing here. I could probably give this in excess of maybe 1 to 1.5 stars, and I think we're all in agreement it's the worst fight of the night. And if anybody were to call this a dud, I wouldn't be mad at you, but I'll give him a little credit. I'll give him about 1 to 1.5 for the effort. So we're just going to bypass that, but we're definitely going to address this one though. And MF, you'll be starting off on this one. Non-title matchup: Women's World Champion Stephanie Vaquer squaring off against Raquel Rodriguez, Liv Morgan in Raquel's corner. And with a little assist from Io Sky of all people here. Winner of the match, 10 minutes and 10 seconds. It is Stephanie Vaquer. MF, Io making the difference here.
Yeah, and the reason why Io got involved was because she was trying to be neutralizer for Liv. Liv was sticking her nose where it didn't belong time after time after time in the match. So Io was like, I've had enough. I'm gonna stick my neck out here, and I'm gonna try to help Stephanie. And it was just enough to get the job done. So you can't be mad, or you can't be too mad at Io for what she was doing. She was just protecting a friend because, like we said, she was getting. There was a number of times where Liv was getting involved in the match. So I can't be too mad about it. And yeah, at the end of the day, Stephanie gets a big win. So this was a 3.5 star match, 3 to 3.5 stars. And Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, 3.5 is my rating as well. I mean, yeah, Io, did get involved and let's not forget another thing too, Fletch. Why Io decided to stick her neck up, because remember, we all thought maybe Io was going to be the favorite to be the next challenger for the Women's Intercontinental Championship until Raquel Rodriguez, who got eliminated by Io, was so upset and basically was like, decided to beat the living hell out of Io. And this is Io basically getting, yes, she basically went after Liv, but I'm sure she wanted to get a little payback on Raquel for costing her an opportunity to be the #1 contender for the Women's Intercontinental title. So yeah, so 3.5 for me. It is yours, Florio.
3 to 3.25 for me on this one. These two have strong in-ring chemistry and have yet to have a bad match. But how many times do we have to see them square off on TV? Io Sky's appearance suggests she will be involved with Raquel in some way at WrestleMania. With the wealth of women's matches hinted at or teased, it is difficult to imagine how WWE will fit them all onto the card. But there are far worse options than booking one of the best wrestlers on the planet against a competitor who has consistently been strong in recent months. Stephanie Vaquer winning was the right call, but this feud with Liv Morgan leads a little more creatively to get it through the next 4 weeks. Next week, the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be honest with you guys. The next 2 weeks are of vital importance for Monday Night Raw on the road to WrestleMania, because we are in 2 of their biggest cities Next Monday night, the 23rd, Monday Night Raw will be live from the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. And then the following week, the 30th, the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. They put on a banger of a show last night in San Antonio. They got to put on just as much of bangers in Boston and in New York. Because let's not forget, back in November, they did back-to-back weeks. November 10th in Boston, November 17th in New York, and they were hands down two of the best Monday Night Raws, if not the two best Monday Night Raws of 2025. Sprinkle in the round out the top three with the night after WrestleMania Raw in April. But anyways, Monday Night Raw next week, Boston, TD Garden, the beast incarnate, the alpha male of our species, Brock Lesnar, will be in Boston next week. And on top of that, the Usos will square off against the Vision's Logan Paul and Austin Theory, but it's a non-title match. The World Tag Team Championship will not be on the line. It's simple. If Logan Paul and Austin Theory win this match, we're looking at a championship committee moment for Mania, guys. No doubt. And oh, by the way, the tribal chief is going to be there as well, Roman Reigns. And speaking of Roman Reigns, round 3 of the verbal battle between Roman Reigns and CM Punk, February 2nd in Philadelphia. That night went to Roman Reigns. 2 weeks ago, Indianapolis, CM Punk evened the score. What would these two have in store for an encore in San Antonio? Roman said, "Welcome to my ring, welcome to my main event," as he came face-to-face with CM Punk in the marquee promo segment. Reigns hurled insults at Punk, including not main eventing a European tour and not being the big money baller that his wife is. Punk stopped the tribal chief from leaving, telling him he would tell Reigns when he could leave, then vowed to beat him at WrestleMania. For all of the insults, it was the OTC calling the World Heavyweight Champion old that earned him a hard right hand to the face. General Manager Adam Pearce and other WWE producers rushed to the ring to pull Punk away, leaving Roman to chirp into the camera as the show went off the air. So I believe Michael Bullock starts this off. So Bullock, round 3 of the verbal battle between CM Punk and Roman Reigns in San Antonio. Roman won the first one. Punk won the second one. Who got this one?
I think Roman got this one. I mean, especially after the moment he called CM Punk old. And yeah, and I'll tell you this right now, guys. I mean, this is now personal with these two. I mean, they've traded insults. I mean, they even some of them, it's gone too far. And I think this is more than just about the World Heavyweight Championship. I mean, yes, the World Heavyweight title's on the line, but this is more than just about that. I mean, there's so much bad blood, so much hatred between these two, and I mean, it really turned up, especially 2 weeks ago when CM Punk said, "I'm gonna bury you next to your father." That's when it really got cranking. So, yeah, another verbal battle here with these two, and I basically am giving this one to the tribal chief this time. So, nothing more to say. Florio, I give it to the OTC, and like I just said, I think this is more than just about the World Heavyweight title now. This is damn sure personal.
It absolutely is. The crowd was molten hot for this main event promo segment. CM Punk mentioned Samoa Joe, claiming that calling Roman by his first name would be an insult to his former Ring of Honor teammate. Much like Punk played to Reigns' weaknesses by mentioning his father 2 weeks ago, the tribal chief played his own mind games, reminding Punk that he is an aging warrior in a young man's game. It worked. drawing the first physicality of the feud, and earning Roman a moral victory. Whether things continue to escalate is the question. The segment itself was less structured than others, with a whole lot of insults. This one felt like it was specifically laid out for Roman to get the upper hand, and that makes sense considering the last one was a clear and concise win for CM Punk. So, another great segment. I probably would say maybe the worst of the three because those first two were just so good. But that's not saying this one wasn't good either. But that's it there. I give the edge to Roman as well. So not much more. MF, your thoughts on round 3 of this verbal battle with Roman and Punk?
Round 1 was a decisive win to Roman Reigns. Round 2, decisive win to CM Punk. Round 3, it looked like it was on the verge of a draw until Roman hit Punk with the wife. Then he hit him with "you're old." It wasn't the wife thing because I think CM Punk would say, "All right, do you know how many times I've heard about it, them talk about my wife? Fine, whatever." No, the minute he says "you're old," that's the OUSOB. How dare you? That's when Roman got him and won the battle. It was a fine segment, like you said. Just like everything was in the past, it was still pretty good. So yeah, good way to close Raw. Florio, it's yours.
All right, we're gonna get into our overall thoughts, and I gotta say, solid 8 out of 10 here. This was a strong episode of Raw, but it never quite was as good as the opening segment when Obafemi dropped Brock Lesnar with the fall from grace and pointed to the WrestleMania sign. It was cinematic, it was captivating, and it laid the groundwork for a huge showdown at the year's biggest show. Obafemi, in his most important segment today, delivered the goods and had the wrestling world saying his name. The ruler, well, ruled and earned MVP honors for the night. The show as a whole was one of the better offerings in recent weeks, thanks to some great in-ring action highlighted by Penta and Dragon Lee. The women's division was prominently featured, and rightfully so, and we got WrestleMania developments up and down the 2.5 hours. The main event segment did not hit quite like the others before it, but it did advance the story. A quality show that fused in-ring competition and mic work to build WrestleMania 42 makes for a thumbs up. Solid 8 out of 10. MF, what says you?
I am going the same route. 8 out of 10. Solid Monday Night Raw. No doubt about it. Really nothing more to add. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, solid 8 out of 10 for me. I mean, I agree with everything you guys have said. So let's get into tonight's edition of NXT, which emanated from Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas at the 713 Music Hall. NXT Vengeance Day was just 10 days ago, but the developmental brand is already preparing for their biggest event of the year, Stand and Deliver, which will be a standalone event, not with WrestleMania weekend, on Saturday, April 4th. In addition to tonight being Booker T Appreciation Night, and rightfully so, we retreated to 3 championship matches, all on the women's side of things. And let's take a look now at everything that happened on tonight's edition of NXT. And what a way to start it off. We started it off hot, boys. We started it off red hot in Houston tonight. I'm going to be honest with you. The first match of this show, I thought was honestly going to be the main event. I really did. But boy, did they surprise me, and I'm sure all of us. We started with the triple threat match for the NXT Women's Championship. The champion, Jacy Jayne, defending against both Sol Ruca and Zarya. Winner of the match in 10 minutes and 47 seconds. And still the NXT Women's Champion, it is Jacy Jayne. Yeah, no surprise with this outcome here. I'm going to give this an excess of 3.25, teetering on 3.5 stars. Just give me a sec. All right. Interesting match to start the show with, and it should have telegraphed the lack of a title change, honestly. JC retains, but Zarya and Soul will continue their feud away from the championship. So 3.25, teetering on 3.5 stars. Great way to start it off, and not much more. MF, JC still the champion in a match that I honestly thought was going to be the main event. I didn't think they were going to start it off with this, but boy, howdy, they did. And JC still the champ, and Zarya and Soul, they're on their way. They're on a collision course. But the question now is, who's next for JC now?
Yeah, I don't know. There's gonna be a lot of questions coming up on that one, but at the end of the day, the champion remains the champion. 3 stars, solid match, nothing more. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, 3.5 for me is on this one. So this, I mean, yeah, the champion stays the champion. So now the $1 million question is, I mean, what's next now for JC Jane? I mean, who's going to be the next to challenger? Because I don't know about you. I mean, I can't think of somebody who could be the next to challenger, especially with Stand and Deliver coming up soon. So we'll see what they give us here. So there's really nothing more for me to add. So it's let's move on, Florio.
Then we had a promo segment. Well, I think I might have a possible next challenger for JC Jane in the Women's Championship. In a backstage segment, Kendall Gray announced that she relinquished her Evolve Championship, her Evolve Women's Championship. She relinquished it to get another shot at JC Jane. Kind of sounds like option C in a sense.
And she's now officially a part of NXT.
And she actually, yeah. Yep.
She gave it up. She relinquished the title. Kind of sounds like option C, as I was saying. So
yeah,
you know that story, but
yeah, we know it.
But we'll see. Lola Vice also says she knows that Kendall is looking at that title, but so is she. So who knows? Maybe it could come down to Kendall Gray or Lola Vice as the one who gets that Stand and Deliver payday. Promo segment, Ricky Saints.
Actually, Florio, I want to chime in quickly. I think Lola Vice is more deserving because Kendall Gray she already had her opportunity when JC Jane, of course, as the champion.
New Year's Evil.
Yeah, earlier this year. So
the start of the year.
If you do Kendall Gray again, then I hate to say it, it's repetitive.
But they also did do JC versus Lola before too, and JC won. So I mean,
so the problem is
you might have to do a multi-woman match, but that's the only way you can. That's the only way you can slice it, because if you try to do one-on-one, that's not going to work. There's too many contenders. Because not only do you have that, there's also Miss Parker right behind them both. She's itching for a title shot as well. So, and
I think Jada Parker really makes more sense.
True, but there's also one other person
she's never had an NXT Women's title shot, if I'm correct.
Yes, correct. Granted. But there's also one other we're missing. Blake
Monroe. Yes.
Well, I think she's got some other things going. Well, we'll talk about it later on.
Yes. Yeah. Let's move on here, guys. Promo segment, Ricky Saints interrupted by Ethan Page, and then interrupted by Joe Hendry, and then Tony D'Angelo laid everybody out. So I'll have something on that when we set the future content for next week. 6-man tag team matchup. All 3 members of Los Americanos, Rayo, Bravo, and El Grande Americano. They squared off against the men's Evolve champion Jackson Drake and the NXT tag team champion Swipe Right, the Vanity Project. And the winners of the match, in 12 minutes and 35 seconds. Los Americanos win the matchup. So MF, Los Grande Americanos pick up the win here. 12:35, time of the fall. They defeat the Vanity Project in the 6-man tag team matchup.
No big surprise here. You got to give them the Duke on this one. This was a solid matchup. 12:35. That's about 3.5 stars for me, man. So really nothing more to add. And Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, 3.5 for me as well. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. It's yours, Florio.
Really fun match, and always a great time when the Americanos are in the house. The loss by Vanity Project should not set them back in the slightest, and if anything else, sets them up for a future tag team title match, assuming that Swipe Right are still the champions after Stand and Deliver. 3.5, teetering on 3 3/4 of a star. Then we had Booker T Appreciation Night. Vic Joseph Vic Joseph presided over it. They did an awesome video package. And of course, in attendance, Sharmell, of course, you know Sharmell, Queen Sharmell, Booker's wife and fellow Hall of Famer. And of course, his children were in there too, his son and his daughter, and 2 other guys they turned out to be they're actually students of Booker T's Reality of Wrestling school. So these were 2 of his prized pupils there. But but unfortunately, it was not all sunshine and rainbows during this, as Keanu Carver ruined the party. But then Jasper Troy comes out, and Jasper Troy gets to Keanu Carver. So Jasper Troy and Keanu Carver definitely on a collision course. But then you had the NXT roster then came out to the stage and gave Booker a standing ovation, and rightfully so, even though Booker was extremely PO'd after Keanu Carver ruined his moment, and rightfully so. Well-deserved moment for Booker. I mean, he is a riot on commentary. Everybody knows this, and he continues to do great work on that LFG show, which will be back at the end of next month. April 26th, I believe, is when they make their return to A&E on Sunday night. So you got something to do on Sunday nights now. That'll be just after WrestleMania. So looking forward to another season of LFG in which Booker will be back as a coach. He took Jasper Troy to the promised land. Let's see what else he can do. So not much more. We move on. Women's Speed Championship on the line. 5-minute time limit. Champion Fallon Henley with her Fatal Influence sisters in her corner, JC Jane and Lainey Reed. Defending against Ren Sinclair. Kendall Gray in her corner. Winner of the match, 3 minutes and 40 seconds. And new Women's Speed Champion, Ren Sinclair. Oh, wow. I know this is probably not going to, we're probably not going to, dive really further into this, but I do want to take a moment and say I'm over the moon because MF, you know how high I am and how much I love this young lady, Ren Sinclair, who has grown on me exponentially. And I know it's the Speed Championship. I know it's not a prestigious championship, but still, it is a championship. And this will, for the moment, for right now, this will forever be, at the moment, Ren Sinclair's biggest win. And she damn sure deserves it. And I'm over the moon for her. I'm so excited for her. And and got to do it in her home state of Texas. She's a Texas girl. So, but then again, Fallon did come in with an injured shoulder due to the events of the opening match when Zarya, throwing all the Fatal Influence around, and Ren was smart to target it. New champion made in her home state. In the immortal words of MF and Gorilla, history was made, unprecedented crowning, and a well-deserved moment for Ren Sinclair. Couldn't we? I couldn't be happier for her, and I know and I'm sure we all echo that sentiment as well. Number one contenders match in the this is a tag team number one contenders tournament match. Hank and Tank squaring off against Uriah Connors and Channing Stacks Lorenzo of the Birthright. The Birthright win the match, 4.5 minutes. Right team won, but yeah, Hank and Tank are what they are at this point, while the Birthright has to prove itself still. Birthright competes in a hell of a lot of short matches, though. 2 to 2.5. That's the best I could go on this. So they move on. And next week we go back to the Performance Center, the CWC. We go back there, and yep. So let me run down the card for next week's show before we get to, of course, the big show in Madison Square Garden at the end of this month. Tony D'Angelo, one-on-one with Ricky Saints. There will be a gauntlet eliminator match, and whoever wins that will challenge Miles Bourne for the North American Championship at Stand and Deliver. And they also announced a couple of other matches. Kalani Jordan, I believe, will be going one-on-one with Thea Hale. And not much. Not sure what else there is still, but that's all I know for next week before we get to the Garden, the theater in the Garden. Main event of the evening for the Women's North American Championship in the confines of a 15-foot high steel temper cage. The champion, Tatum Paxley, defending against the former champion, Izzy Dame. Izzy invoking her rematch clause. Winner of the match in 11 minutes and 50 seconds. And still the Women's North American Champion, Tatum Paxley. The rules were simple, of course. You could win the match either by pinfall, submission, or escaping the cage over the top or through the door. Tatum got the pinfall victory. But she didn't have much time to celebrate because a trap door opens. Tatum gets pulled in, and who pulled her in? Blake Monroe. I think it's safe to say we have our next challenger for Tatum Paxley in the Women's North American Championship, and I think we can finally blow off this Tatum and Izzy feud. So, not much more. Michael Bullock, Tatum Paxley, still the Women's North American Champion, defeating Izzy Dame in 11:50 inside the cage. But then Blake Monroe pulls her under a trap door. So there's no question about it. Blake Monroe wants next.
Yeah, 3 1/4, 3.5 for the main event. Obviously the right outcome here. And yeah, now we can finally move on from the whole Tatum Paxley and Izzy Dame feud. And and now looks like we found our next challenger, and it's Blake Monroe. And I see this going down at Stand and Deliver. So nothing more for me to say. I don't know what happened to Fletch. I mean, we seem to have lost him.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have lost MF.
Unless he had to.
I don't know if he. I don't know. Maybe he.
Unless he had to take
very
off.
Possible. Maybe his connection dropped. That's the only thing I could think of.
Or that he had to take off because maybe of work commitments.
That's very possible, also. But the steel cage suited this feud to a T, as it helps to blow off to the presumed ending of this feud. Both ladies used the cage to their advantage, and it was a fun main event. 3 1/4, 3.5. And as far as overall goes, I'll say it like this. There was a lot of great stuff tonight. I mean, yeah, there were a couple of matches, but I'm actually going to give this in excess of 7.5, teetering on 8. They made the show feel like a big deal, even if it didn't have the branding of one of their PLE offerings, because they took this show outside of the PC, and a different crowd can definitely help spice things up every so often. So can title matches that deliver. A great stroll down memory lane in tribute to Booker T, and a lot of general dysfunction that makes this show so unpredictable. at times, and the one thing that really made me very happy tonight was seeing Ren Sinclair win that women's speed championship. They did a good job of making us more interested in what they seem to be planning for Stand and Deliver. Shows in 2.5 weeks, so it's time to start actually announcing some stuff, which should be coming up in the next few weeks. And that's it. So 7.5, teetering on 8 out of 10. So not much more to say. Barring anything, I don't think we're going to get an MF back here tonight. His connection probably dropped or something. I don't know. So we're just going to wrap it up here. Michael Bullock, a quick thought on tonight's show, and then we're going to put this thing to bed here.
Yeah, 7.5 to 8 for me as well. So nothing more to say. So set up the future content.
All right, will do. That will put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. We'll be back with you again on Friday night, right back here on the Tone 25, 11 p.m. Eastern, TXN Sports World. We will recap the World Baseball Classic Championship. Team Venezuela defeating Team USA 3-2 tonight to win the WBC. And then we will start our coverage of the NCAA tournament. We'll run down the scores from day 1 and day 2 action. And if it's warranted, we might have some more bonus commentary. We'll see. So that'll be on Friday night. And then Saturday night, probably around 10:30 or so, we will have the Cerebral Smack Talk over on MF's channel, Bracefan 95, TNA Impact, Friday Night SmackDown, and the continuation of the AAA Rey de Reyes event. MF will have that as well. And then 1 week from tonight, we do it all over again. Ridiculously Raw, Monday Night Raw from TD Garden in Boston, NXT back in the PC before they go back out on the road to the theater in Madison Square Garden at the end of this month. So we'll get into all that next week, and that's it. So until Friday night, for TXN Sports World, this is Anthony Floyer here for the Phenom, Michael Bullock, and in spirit, good old MF, Michael Fletcher. And of course, always and forever, our First Lady, Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune Forest style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed rest of your week. And until Friday night, for TXN Sports World, you have been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and Streamy.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you, beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.